What is up, creatives? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the stream. It's Jahrell, your music technologist, here to help you master the tech you need to make music freely. I'm stoked that you're here and I'm excited to get into what we have tonight. But real quick, let me recognize some of the folks that are tuning in right now. Good to see some regulars in the chat. I see Mobile Music Pro is in the building. Benjamin Demers is in the building. Welcome, y'all. JJ Being is in the building. Not really in the building. I mean, you're in the chat, but Michael Washington is here. Welcome. I'm seeing some interesting chat about the iPads. I want to touch on some of that. Yo, Noble Amani, my little bro, is in the chat. What's up, bro? Anthony Flores in the chat. Yo, Noble, I'm gonna hit you up after this. So I don't know if you're working or not, but I'll hit you up. Cool. Yo, Max Vickus is in the chat. What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good too. All right, y'all. It's an exciting night. I got some nuggets here that I want to share with you guys. I've noticed in my time of learning music production, learning to make music in general, I've learned that it's really the subtleties in making music that makes your music sound super professional. It's what makes the difference. It's the little things, the things that we spend time on that nobody else may notice, or they might not be able to tell you exactly what you did, but they know that it sounds good. And that's some of the stuff we're going to talk on today. So really quick, before we do that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do live streams every week, helping you, master your tech, master the tech you need to make music freely. What that means is I talk a lot about iPad music production. I share music production gear that is really helpful, stuff that I use regularly and can recommend. And I also do, tip and tutorial videos where I go in depth on some of the things I do and the ways I do them on my iPad. So definitely hit that sub button. Yeah. Let's get into it real quick. Okay, so we're about to get into some super jam-packed, really powerful tips on how we can make our music sound way better, and it's all going to be for free. Now, when I say for free, I do mean free. I mean you don't need to go purchase extra stuff for this. Bear in mind, I'm going to be doing all of this using my iPad Pro right here using BeatMaker 3. So aside from having an iOS device and BeatMaker 3, you don't need anything else. Now you can do several of these things can be done in any DAW. Probably most of them can be done in any DAW. So this is really globally applicable when it comes to your setup. So, all right, let's get into it. So, let me make sure I got my notes up. Hang on just a sec. Thought I had that up already. And we will, here we go. Put that over there. All right, sweet. We are, oh, that's the wrong one. How did that happen? Okay. Okay, I see. All right, I think we're good now. All right, thanks y'all. Here we go. So, first things first is we're gonna go ahead and pull up BeatMaker 3. And I'm gonna pull up a song that I made recently, an instrumental that I made recently. I actually made it on 420 on the last live stream, so I'm gonna pull that up. And there's some things I did in here that are really subtle, but they're really, I do it in almost every track that I do. So first things first, I want to talk a little bit about stereo separation. Stereo separation makes a huge difference in the way your mix sounds. You just got to know when to use it, how often to use it. One thing that I like to do for stereo separation is I like to stereo separate my hi-hats, especially when it's a live sounding hi-hat. Stereo separation is good. Now, you can do this with plugins. There are good plugins out there, but there is the OG way to do it where you don't need any plugins. You can create stereo separation on your own. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. This can be done in any DAW. So let's take a look at that. So if you look real quick, I have, I'll just play you this section of the song real quick. And that way you can see what we're working with. Let me make sure my speakers are muted. And there we go. All right, we got audio, we got audio. All right, here we go. All right, so that's what we got so far. That is actually the chorus section of this track. I'm pretty stoked about it. And anyway, let's get into the stereo separation. So on these hi-hats right here, they are stereo separated. So I have some drums. I got some hi-hats right in here on this drum pattern. So if I go into my patterns, I have a pattern called hi-hat. And we'll go to that and we'll see what it looks like. There's my hi-hat pattern right there. I played it in using the pads. And there it is. So what I did was I went ahead and I just duplicated my whole drum rack right here, duplicated my bank, and here it is down below. I just put the hi-hat pattern down below. Now here's where the stereo separation comes into play. So the first thing you need to do is zoom in really close here. And we'll set our snap to free. It's really important. Zoom in and look at that. You can see, hold on, let me do this. You can see right here, the full drums, the one with the hi-hat up top, the blue one, is earlier than the hi-hat below. So I literally separated them away from each other. So you can do that manually just by touching and dragging. Now I would use it on the free, right here, the free snap, no snap, because it's really just a tiny adjustment. If I zoom out here, you can barely even tell that I moved it. It's a really slight move. So you just move it over and you can kind of listen to it as you move it. When it's too far apart, you can tell. So let's do this. We're gonna solo this and then we will solo the hi-hat in here. So that is, I believe it's this one. Do we have audio? We should be able to hear that. Okay, let's see, right here. There we go. Okay, So you can hear that stereo separation. What I'm getting at right here is if I were to move this too far apart, it's going to start to sound like two different hi-hats. So like if I play that, and that gets a little crazy. So you got to really just play with it until you get that lined up where you want it. All right, so you've got your hi-hat duplicated, and this isn't just for hi-hats, but I'm just giving you an example real quick. The next thing I did was I stereo panned them. So this bank right here is the hi-hat, one of the hi-hats, and if you tap in here, the sound that I'm using is right here. That's my my hi-hat, and it is stereo panned a bit to the right. Now notice I didn't pan it all the way. You can play with that as well to get it to your liking. I did the same thing with the other one right here. This channel is panned to the left. So we got a left and a right. That creates stereo separation, and it really does fill up the sound a little bit more with the hi-hats. They're a little bit more noticeable. I did this also on my track called Stars, my song called Stars. If you stream that up on Spotify. But I did that in that song as well too, and it really does make a difference. All right, so that was stereo separation. Now, obviously, you can do that on several other things. That is just the most basic way to do it. If you're new to any DAW and you're like, I don't know how to use their stereo plugin, do stereo separation yourself. It's not that hard. The stereo separation plugin that's built into Beatmaker 3, in my opinion, I don't like the way it sounds. It doesn't separate enough to me. Something doesn't seem quite right about it. So that could just be my own not understanding of it. But anyway, let's move on. The second one is sidechaining. Now I have done actually a whole video on this, and I'll try to remember to link that in the description, but you can definitely check that out on my channel. It's called How to Sidechain in Beatmaker 3. But I could really just spend a whole video worth of time on sidechaining, but I will not. I'll just talk a little bit about how to sidechain and what I sidechain whenever I do this in my song. So the kick is the main thing you want to be sidechaining. It's really going to make a huge difference in your mix when the kick can cut through that mix, so the kick doesn't have to be overpowering. Now this also helps down the line when you're trying to get into your mixing stage and your mastering stage, because the kick is going to be your main culprit when it comes to peaking, and it's going to make it really hard to compress your song later and still have it sound good, because your kick is competing with everything else in your mix, and it's just pumping and pushing your mix into that really loud sound, and it makes it really hard to compress later. So getting your kick under control is important, and the way you can do that is create a sidechain on your other instruments. So let's just choose an instrument. For example, I have this main synth right here. Actually, yeah, let's do just that right here. And this is what it sounds like. Now, I don't know if you guys heard that cutting out in the back, background of the synth. That's actually the kick cutting through. Even though the kick's not playing right now, that was the kick cutting through. So if I were to go in and solo the kick along with this, let's turn that solo off. Let's find the kick. I think that's it. We'll solo that kick, and we will. Okay, and you should be able to hear how the kick is cutting through here. So let's play it again. This time with the kick. All right, so I don't know if you guys could tell, but the kick, when the kick is playing, the volume of that pad is ducking down and getting out of the way. And we're going to do that we've done that with several things here in this song. So let me show you how I did that. So we're going to click that channel, the one that I put it on, and this is what you use. Use a dynamics processor, and it's one of the built-in effects in Beatmaker 3. Now there's other ways to sidechain, there's other plugins for that, but I'm just going to show you the way to do it in Beatmaker 3, because in my opinion it is the simplest. So you would just go in, hit dynamics processor right there, and then I already have one up, so I'll just show you. This is what it will come up with. You'll make sure your mode is selected to compressor, okay? And then sidechain input. This is really important. You have to set this. So you go in, you got to find what bank your drums are in. So mine are in bank A1, and then I click select pad, and then I hit my kick right there, decap kick. That's the one I used. And now it is sidechained to that kick. That was it. Now, beyond that, you need to dial in your settings. And you know, that's where you would do that here. And I'll show you that in just a sec. Really quick in the chat. Oh, it sounds like Mobile Music Pro is saying Cubasis might be getting native sidechain ability soon. That sounds exciting. I think that's dope if that really is happening, because that's one of the main things I feel like it's missing. But we shall see. Anyway, back to sidechaining. So make sure you tweak these settings. Some of the main settings I tweak are the threshold. Now, this is a negative number. It says negative 33 decibels. Let me pull this up so you can see it. So negative 33 decibels under threshold. The lower you make that number, as in like, you know, the more I drag this down this way, right, the more intense the effect is going to be. The more of the volume it's going to cut out from this pad. So as you drag that down, that's what will happen. The ratio, as you adjust that, is essentially how basically how harsh or how soft your cut will be. It's either chopping right off the top, or it's kind of chopping at a slant, so it's not as aggressive. It has like a delayed attack. And the same thing for here. So here's the actual attack right here. You can change that as well. I generally have mine set either to 1 millisecond or even all the way down to 0 or 0.1 milliseconds. Release is going to be how long it's going to be ducked out for. So the higher the release, the longer it's going to take for the sound to come back from the pad. 30 milliseconds is what I have it set to for this one. And then your knee width is 2. That also has to do with the curve and how soft or how harsh that chop is. Here's another pro tip. I often use this look ahead mode. I'll pull this up so you can see it better, hopefully. Look ahead mode is on. Now that also, in my opinion, definitely helps with it not being so harsh. You can adjust your look ahead time. What I'm assuming this is it's preemptively reading the audio that I have for this pad, and it is already, you know, doing the function of sidechaining, you know, doing the compression ahead of time, which it seems like makes a better sound, not as choppy. You know, I could be wrong on that, but that's what I feel like is happening. All I know is look ahead mode tends to make it quite a bit less dramatic of an effect. All right, so you can put sidechain. You can do a sidechain with any instrument. Really quick, here, take this down. Write this down. The things I would almost always sidechain to your kick. All right. Sidechain your melodic, your pads. Sidechain your pads, like, or any like harmonic instruments, your pianos, your pads, things like that. I almost always sidechain that, and that's usually one of my more aggressive sidechains. All right. Next thing I would think about is hi-hats. I actually sidechain my hi-hats to my kick, so the kick can cut through the hi-hats just a little bit, and that one I don't do too aggressively. It's just a little bit, and that kind of gives the drums more of a compressed feel. And then I would also sidechain the bass to the kick, and this one is a pretty aggressive sidechain because a lot of times your kick and your bass are competing for the same frequency space, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But and then, you know, any melodies that are kind of like background melodies, any ear candy type stuff, like jingly kind of stuff, I have some of that in here. That is also sidechained to the kick. So like the majority of the stuff in this song is sidechained to the kick. Okay? Okay. Sidechaining. It's huge. Use it. It is one of the biggest things that changed the game for my sound. Real quick, while you're here, definitely go ahead and hit that like button if you're feeling like you're getting some value from this video. I do stuff like this every single week, and you hitting that like button definitely helps out the channel because it tells YouTube you enjoy this content and they start recommending it to more people. But also, you get some better suggestions in your feed for more content like this. So thank you for hitting that like button. Appreciate that. Back to the content. So we covered, first we covered our stereo separation, then we got sidechaining. What's next? Auto pan. Auto pan is something that definitely changes the game. All right, so it's really, really, really easy. And here's some things that I use auto pan on. Hi-hats, a lot. I use auto pan on hi-hats very often. I also auto pan melodies sometimes. I use auto pan in order to do my risers as well. So auto pan, all you have to do in order to auto pan something, let's see, let's pick a good line that we can use. How about, let's see, let's use this melody right here. Or wait, yeah, that's right. So we'll solo this. Let's actually turn the other solos off. And we will play just this melody real quick. Oh, that's the bass. JK. I think this is it. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear some of that sidechain compression kicking through. But we're going to go ahead and go into Add Audio Effect, and we're going to go to Auto Pan. Now, it's going to pull up this little window down here at the bottom, and all you have to do is set, keep sync mode on. What that's going to do is sync it to your tempo. Now, you can definitely have it not synced and have it go at your own rate, but I use sync mode most often. Sine wave, you can change your wave style. I generally use sine wave because you're getting the most consistent wave, smooth wave. You're not having jagged cuts and changes. So I keep it on sine wave. And I generally try to use the triplet functions. So this is quarter note triplet. If you do it right on the beat, it kind of gets a little bit robotic. And people are, I don't know, it kind of messes with your ear and you're like, I don't really like this. Let's see. JJ Bing 3 says, I better start naming those tracks. Yeah, you're right, dude. I used to name them. I used to name every single one, and then I realized that I was running out of all of these working titles, and they were kind of trash anyway. I was never gonna like use most of them. I've had some working titles that turn into the actual title, but yeah, I just started doing the date because it actually serves as a little bit of an encouragement to me to see how many different days out of the month I actually produced something. So it's good. I like using the number system until the song is really actually getting ready to be finished, in which case I will probably rename the project to the name of the song. Okay. All right. All right, sounds like you guys are helping each other out in the comments. Good, I'm gonna let y'all do that. Thanks to everybody that's jumping in and helping in the comments. Let's get back to auto pan. So let's hear what this sounds like. Auto panned. It's already turned on. You can control the depth. Depth is literally how much is going to go left or right. So just like you have a pan knob and you twist it however far you want to the left, however far you want to the right, this is telling you how much you can go in each direction. So you're going 50% of the way, 50% of the way, or you can go 100. I wouldn't generally go 100 unless you want like just a crazy effect, but I'll probably go like 60 or 70. Let's see what that sounds like. I kind of like that. Let's hear what that sounds like in context. Oops, don't want to record. Here we go. I feel like that sounds good. Yeah, cool. All right, so that was auto pan. Let me not slow down. Let me keep this moving. All right, so we got stereo separation, we got side chaining, we got auto pan. All right, next thing up is filter sweeps. This is pretty huge. Most songs that you've heard have probably, I mean, okay, that's not a fair statement to say. A lot of songs that you've heard probably have filter sweeps in there somewhere. And I used some in here. I didn't use as many in this track, so I don't know if this is the best example, but I did automate some filter sweeps into this main synth right here at the beginning. So if you listen, I'll just play the whole thing. You'll hear the synth goes up to a high pitch. It's not pitch. It goes up to high frequency and then kind of goes down. Here's what it is. Cool. So if you listen to this, if I turn off the filter that I'm using to do this, which I think I did it in, yeah, I did do it in Qual Effects. So let's actually go back. Let's play this again and see what happens. Yeah, this right here. Now, if I didn't do that at all, this is what that would sound like. A little less interesting, in my opinion. I think the filter sweep really adds something. Now, you can use filter sweeps for whole sections of a song, and that's really popular. That kind of like going underwater effect, and then it kind of opens up. You've all heard that, I'm sure. That is a filter sweep, and obviously this is a plugin, but you don't need Koala effects to do this. Right here, oh, JJ Bing says you're talking about the names of the instruments. I got you. Yeah, dude, I really should start labeling my instruments. You're 100% right on that. But sometimes if I'm like in the flow state and I'm making a song, I don't bother with the labels. I should have probably labeled this one, but anyway, back to it. The filter sweep, I did it in Koala Effects, but you don't need Koala Effects. You could do the same thing literally with an SV filter, and you can just literally mess with this cutoff knob, and that is literally the same thing. And then you can automate that. You could literally just automate it with this knob right here. Make sure automations are turned on, or you could map this to a macro. So you could just press and hold, oh sorry, it's a double tap, and hit macro controls, macro 1, and boom, that is now controlling this. And I can record that in. That is the same thing as the filter that I used in Koala Effects. This is a really, really dope effect, and it's been used by a lot of producers. When I started doing it more often, it changed the game for me. So filter sweeps, definitely do that. On that note, you might notice that as we're doing this stuff, it's like this is a lot of extra stuff, and we're not talking about actually like the music making process. And it can seem like, gosh, you really do this on all of your songs? That would just kill my creativity. This is the thing about learning how to do things that make your music sound professional. The more you do them, the more it just becomes part of the music making process. Literally, I didn't like do a separate session to go back and like go in and do all these effects. I did this while I was creating, and it really didn't take long because I've done it enough times to get used to it. So incorporate this stuff into your music, and it really won't take long to get used to it. Yo, if you guys are still rocking with me, hit that like button. I appreciate that. If this is content you like, definitely hit that like button. Thank you guys for tuning in and being here. All right, back to it. Cool. Mo Music Pro says Koala Effects is still going strong for me. And Benjamin says it's been crashing on him. Yes, I think what's happening is some effects play better with Cubasis, and some effects play better with Beatmaker 3. For example, I can't remember what I was using in Cubasis that kept crashing. I think it might have been some of the Fab Filter plugins maybe in Cubasis. But what I'm noticing is Beatmaker 3 and Koala effects are tending to not get along these days. So I get a lot of Koala effects cannot initiate when I'm reloading a project, and that's really annoying. So yeah, take that for what it is. But some things aren't working great with beatmaker 3. I don't know if that's a beatmaker 3 thing. I don't know if that's Qual FX thing, but it could be either, or it could be both. But if people aren't having that issue in other DAWs, it might be a beatmaker 3 thing. So, all right, we are on number 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5. 5 out of 6. We're getting there to the end. This one's really basic, but it takes probably the most time. That's EQ literally almost everything. Just EQ it. It's pretty important. Why do I say that? Because every sound that you hear has a spectrum of frequencies. So you're going to have some high end, you're going to have some low end. Nothing is purely one bit, unless you've really EQ'd it down into that, which is kind of what I'm getting at. But there's always going to be some low end and some high end, and that's because of the rooms that these things are recorded in, or just the quality of the sound, the frequency, the note. So what I'm saying about EQing everything is it's important to know where you want everything to sit in the frequency spectrum. So kicks, I kind of stopped EQing kicks because I use some kicks that are really well EQ'd. Now, if that's not your case, you might have to do some fine tuning. But generally what you want your curve to look like on an EQ for a kick would be a little bump in the low mids, like not all the way in the bass end, but kind of in the low mids, and then you probably want a peak a little bit in the high end. And that is going to help you get, a nice punchy kick that isn't boomy. So when it comes to basses, like a live bass guitar or like a sub bass, a lot of times you're going to want to do a roll off on the end of your bass. I'm going to show you how to do this, by the way. Roll off anything lower than around 18 to 20 hertz, because the human ear really doesn't hear that. But it will come through if you have the right kind of speakers, like in the car, or if you got some big speakers somewhere. It's going to kill the mix in those situations. So you really want to roll off those extra frequencies. And then in the high end, you're going to want to have a little bit of a bump, so that you can still hear that on things like cell phone speakers and stuff like that. So notice I'm really thinking about where my music is going to be played when it comes to EQing. Super important. So let me actually show you guys a little bit of the EQing that I've done here. So my bass, I believe, is this track right here. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one. So this is what my effects look like for that. So I got Pro Q3. Now, like I said, you do not need to purchase another plugin, but this happens to be a plugin I've purchased. But you can use the stock EQ in beatmaker 3 or whatever your DAW is. It's plenty good enough. I just like the layout of this one. So notice this is what my curve looks like on a bass. On most basses I do this. Pretty similar. Some of them I'll fine tune more than others, but this is what I do. So this is a roll off after 17.765 hertz. Everything below there I've tapered it off. And you can control how steep of a curve you want in this particular plugin. And I like it to be pretty steep. So that's just going to roll off those extra frequencies so you don't get a big boomy mix. Up here is the peak I've added, a little bit of in the high range, so that we get some of those higher overtones in the cell phone speakers. So that is the way I EQ'd that. Let's see, what else have I EQ'd here? How about this piano? Yeah, I just used an SV filter. I wanted a little bit of roll off the top. That's an EQ right there. An SV filter is just a single value filter. It's just taking one value out of the EQ, and I'm bringing it, the cutoff on the highs down a bit. Let's see, what else did I EQ here? We got DRC. Did I EQ this one? No, I didn't EQ. See, I didn't EQ everything. There's some things I did though. This top one, did I EQ this one? No, but I definitely EQ'd this bottom one. Yeah. So there's another pad in here. It's just the same pad, but it's an octave lower. And here's what it sounds like. Yeah, so that's it right there. And then, so what I did was, without my EQ, it would have sounded really pretty bad. But let's go to that EQ right now. So I rolled off a lot of the lows because the low end is really cluttered with those chords, and I really didn't want it to be boomy down there. I just wanted some mids out of this. So the higher, the higher pads that I'm playing, they're taking care of the high range. All right, that's what I wanted them to do. Now I'm using these to take care of the mid range. So I thought about that. I've got two different sets of pads. One's kind of handling my high range. One's handling my low range. I bumped up the high mids a little bit, and I cut off the highs a lot, and I cut off the lows a lot. So that's my EQ. So what I'm saying here is take some care into thinking about what frequencies, what part of the frequency spectrum your specific instrument takes up. Even voices. This is really important with voices, but we're not going to get into voices right now. But all right, EQ everything. We got that, right? All right, the last one, all right? Reverb. Use reverb, but use it tastefully. This is very important. Many of us use reverb, but we don't use it tastefully. And usually when we use it, we end up bathing it in reverb, and it just kills the mix. Throat getting dry. All right, so there's several things that I have reverb on, and the amount of reverb I use definitely varies. Now, again, there is a stock reverb built into my DAW. There's a stock reverb built into most DAWs. I did not happen to use the stock reverb, but everything I'm going to be talking about you can do with stock reverb. So, let's see, what have I put reverb on? This main melody right here, I have a good amount of reverb on. All right, now, if I didn't put any reverb on that, listen to how boring this would sound. Oh, there is a little reverb still on it, but... So the original sound has a little reverb on it, but I added a little bit more with this right here. So what I did was I added a reverb, and I put some, I controlled the mix. You can do this in almost any reverb. I just brought it down a little bit below 50%, controlled how big I wanted the room to be, made it a little bit brighter, and I made it nice and stereo wide. All right, that's all I really did here. Now this EQ happens to have some options for controlling your the EQ of your reverb, which I think is super dope with FabFilter. So if you can, FabFilter is really dope for all of your mixing needs, but this is not a commercial for that. I added a little bit of a roll off on the highs because I didn't want the high end too much of this reverb, so I rolled it off. I don't think you can do that with the stock one, but that's not that important. Let's see, something else I put reverb on. I have these really cool effects that happen during that melody. So let's see. Let's just do that and this main synth here. Yeah, those toms, good amount of reverb on that. Listen to this effect right here. That definitely has reverb on it. So let's go in and look at it. Okay, Benjamin says, I put a light room reverb on the master track. That might be something you're into. I generally, this is my personal opinion, I generally try to steer people away from doing effects like reverb on a master track. Now, I understand it can make your track sound like it's in a room, like a specific room, which can be a good thing. But the thing is, the speakers they're coming out of, not everybody's going to have the same room. And I feel like you might get some, you're going to get general mud in the sound, I feel like. So, for example, there's got to be something in there that you want crystal clear clarity on. When you put reverb on the master track, you don't give yourself the flexibility to have anything in your mix that is completely dry. Which, yeah, I would argue that there's some things that I would really want to keep dry. And it really, you're right, it definitely does depend on the type of track. But generally, I feel like kicks go really well when they're pretty dry. So yeah, I would generally try to do your reverb, if you're not going to do it just on every instrument that you're using, which I know can be a hassle and it can take up a lot of CPU space, but you could do it through an aux track. That's a good option, because you can just route however many things you want to that aux track, and you can leave some things out. So that's my recommendation when it comes to putting reverb on a lot of things. Yeah, I think we've kind of drilled reverb enough, right? Yeah, I would think so. So I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip. The reason this is a bonus tip is because it's actually using a plugin, you know, and I wanted this to be about free things specifically. But for those of you that are interested in something that's based in a plugin, check this out. So pitch warble. All right, pitch warble. That is my number 7. My bonus tip to you is messing with having some waver in the pitch of your instrument. So here's the thing, as an instrumentalist myself and someone who's been around a lot of instrumentalists, most of the time when you're making music, something is always moving in the sound, right? And sometimes that thing is pitch. Sometimes you want crystal clear pitch all the way through, but a lot of times, especially with things like vibrato, which is a natural, you know, it's something that you do when you play an instrument or even when you sing. A lot of people sing with vibrato. I sing with vibrato sometimes. So vibrato is literally just an alteration in pitch. It's a variation in the pitch. Now, there's something to like tapping into the way natural music is made when you're doing music production. All right, you want to try to make your stuff that you've programmed in or stuff that you've played from what am I trying to say here? Stuff that you've played from a plugin. You want that to sound pretty natural. So having some waver in there is really, really going to help. So I use that actually on this main pad here. So it's kind of fluctuating up and down. I don't know if you can really tell, but so what I've done is I actually used the vibro flange feature in Koala FX. Now, I get that that's not a pure vibrato, but it really does handle the effect. I didn't use a ton of it, but it's just enough to give it that little bit of warble in there. Now, there's other things that you can use to do this. For example, you could use a plugin like Flytape 2. I could load that up, and there's literally a warble button, and you can press hold to leave it on. The reason I don't really like that so much is you can only use the presets. You can't really adjust how much warble you get, and the presets tend to be too much warble in my opinion. So there you go. So that right there has been my 6 tips plus a bonus, 6 ways to get your music to sound way better for free. So definitely implement these. They're going to change the game in your music production if you can do these things consistently. Think of them. Just have those. Write this list down. Set it on your desk so that you have them to think about when you're making your music. Like when you're trying to figure out what can make this instrument sound better, what could make this sound better. You got your list right there to help you out. So that's that. Let me know if that helped you guys in the comment section. I would love to know which tip was your favorite tip. Which one is the one that's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be big for me. Let me know down in the comment section. I would love to chat it up about that, either live or later after. So the next thing we're gonna transition to is we're gonna talk a little bit about this thing over here. I don't know if you guys saw this. This hasn't been here for very long. But I want to talk about what it is and why I use it. It's really helpful for vocals. So yeah, we're gonna get into that right in a second. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. If you're just tuning in, you just missed all of those 6 helpful ways to make your music sound way better. So you need to go back, rewind this video, and check that out, because I feel like there was some gold in there. So definitely do that. If you're enjoying this kind of content, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. And yeah, I'll be here every week giving you guys tip and tutorials as well as gear reviews on all things music production. So keep it locked right here. All right, so this is the Alctron PF8, and it looks a lot like, I'm sure what you've seen is called the Chaotica Eyeball. This is not the Chaotica Eyeball. This is the Chinese knockoff of the Chaotica Eyeball, to be honest, to keep it a buck. But what this is it is a foam enclosure for my microphone. It's not just a giant microphone head. But basically what it's trying to do is isolate the sound that's going into my microphone and block off a little bit of the environment sound. Obviously it's not going to be 100%. It's just foam, and there's also the opening right here. But it really does make a difference in the sound isolation. So what I'd like to do is show you guys exactly how it works, and then I'll also show you guys we'll do a couple live examples on the difference in how our vocals sound with it or without it. So the main thing right here is you have a pop filter built in, which is kind of dope. It's a two-ply pop filter, which is what a pop filter should be. But it works really well. It works the same thing as, I'll grab it real quick. I have one of these bad boys. Yeah, pop filter. No longer need to keep this attached to my mic, and that's been really nice to not have to worry about. But yeah, so this is the pop filter, and that goes right on top. Now, if you see in here is my microphone, and I have this. I wanted to try to keep the cardioid, the condenser part, center in this, and I think that's pretty important to keep a balanced control of what's going on in there, a balanced environment. Yo, Anthony says throw the link to that. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do that right now. Let me throw that in the description for you, because I would love for you guys to. You know what? I'm gonna have to do it after. Sorry. I will throw the link in the description as soon as I get done here. But I got this on AliExpress. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it anywhere on Amazon, so I had to wait a good week or two, I think, to get this in the mail through AliExpress. It was about 20 to 30 bucks. I can't remember exactly how much, but it was about 30 bucks, I think. Yeah, but it got here, and it got here in less than 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. So let me show you how this goes on. So you can just slide it off. Let me slide it all the way off. So you got to be kind of careful, especially with a mic like this one. I don't want to knock the grills off that are attached to the mic. All right, cool. So there's that. You'll notice I still have this foam sleeve right here. So this is what it comes with. It comes with this foam sleeve, and it comes with the ball itself. So let me get this off real quick. Okay, cool. There we go. We're good. All right, so let's get some top-down action real quick. Let's just turn that off. So this is it right here. You got your main opening where your mic, goes in, and then you have this hole on the bottom where, that's where the center of the mic goes through. Now this piece of foam right here, this tube, is you put this sleeve over your microphone, and then this goes over that. This is not a very good angle. Let's do this. You put this on your microphone, slide it on down, and then this goes over the top, and that helps it to where once you've put this on, it's not going to keep falling all the way down. So that's why they give you this. And this ring part goes at the bottom. So put it on just like this. It's kind of like a sock for your microphone. It's kind of funny. Okay. Okay, and you have to decide where you want your height on this. I think I had mine set right about there. And this is not the most elegant situation when you're trying to get it on. So let me just show you how I do it. Try to put it where you can see it really well. You really got to try to force some of this bottom foam in there. And it's not going to go easy. You kind of got to make it go through. And it's kind of annoying trying to get it on, to be honest. I took it off to show you guys, because I'm doing it for you guys, even though I already had it on there perfect. I'm doing it for you. All right, let me see. I'm trying to get it. So the part is you got to get this sleeve in. Yeah, so this thing's not really meant to be taken on and off a lot, but the thing is you shouldn't need to. Even for most instruments, having some sound isolation shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, it should be helpful, actually. So, all right. I think I've got it on pretty even. I think that's good. Now, once you've got it on, go ahead and center it. I've got it pretty centered in there like I like it. And then you want to take the pop filter, make sure the logo's on the outside, and just pop it in. It goes pretty easy. Just kind of push it in. You'll hear a little pop once it's in there. Boom, there it is. Okay, now you'll notice you can no longer tell where the center of the microphone is, right? I mean, there are ways to tell. If you have an XLR cable coming out, you can tell because the switch will be in the front for this particular microphone. But what I did was I just put a mark. This is the front of the microphone, so every time I see that, I know, looking right at it, because you don't want to have your mic off-centered in there. All right, so that's the hardware of it. That's it. But let me show you guys the difference it makes for your sound. So let me go ahead and throw up an empty project. All right, let's actually not save this because I don't want to keep that. Let's open up a new project, session. Let's do a little jingle. Is that on here? Should be. Yeah. All right. We gotta let it load the clips. While it's loading the clips, sorry, I didn't have the camera switched. While it's loading the clips, yeah, we'll just give it a second. Oh, definitely, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I really am gonna try to start getting a lot more active on Twitter and Instagram. I definitely shout out anytime that I go live. I definitely do that on those channels, but I'm going to try to start getting you guys some more dedicated content, give you guys some more like daily looks at what I'm doing here in the studio. So definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jahrell Amani. There we go. I don't know, it seems like it's kind of lagging on the social bar. Not sure what's going on with that. Sorry about that. All right, back to it. We're all loaded. So I got my track. Let's see. Let's just redo some of my verse real quick.
Oh, we say 'tis the season.
Let's see. Here we go.
Oh, here's a little jingle. He gave us his son. Thought about writing this on wrapping paper.
All right. So I did not have a vocal enclosure like this one over here, the Chaotica Eyeball, when I recorded these vocals. But let me show you what I did, or what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. All right, and we're going to delete what's here. We're going to mute this. I'm going to mute that. All right, let's do a little test. Let's see the difference in the vocals, the way they come out with or without the Alcatron. All right, I probably should have kept it off when I did this. All right, here we go. We got that, and we got this. We record arms. Let's make sure it's set to the right input, hardware input. Bada bing. All right, here we go.
Oh, here's a little jingle to share with the ones you love. Tell them God loved the world so much that He gave us His Son.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper. Couldn't wrap the gift, so I wrapped this. Thank God He wrapped up in flesh like a jacket gave us just what we needed to save you. But
I'm glad I.
Anyway, so Yo, JJ Bean, gotta run. I appreciate you rolling through, man. Definitely appreciate you coming through. All right, so I might not have had that hot enough in the vocals, but here's what it sounded like.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper.
Oh, we're gonna need to mute some of the. We're gonna need to mute the reverb. Okay, sorry, I've got some reverb going. We're gonna want to mute both of those effects channels. So here we go.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper. Couldn't wrap the gift, so I wrapped this. Thank God he wrapped up in flesh like a jacket gave us. Just what we needed, a savior, but.
Alright, so I forgot that I had all of these effects on here. Oh yeah, it's koala, that's what's going on. Alright, so let's just turn all the effects off, and here's the raw vocal. Here we go. Alright, Benjamin, thanks for rolling through, man. Appreciate it.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper. Couldn't wrap the gift, so I wrapped this. Thank God he wrapped up in flesh like a jacket gave us.
Obviously, you're still hearing a little bit of room sound, okay? But it's definitely killing some of it. Now let's hear what it would sound like without the Altron PF8 on it. So you're going to notice a slight difference. All right, here we go. All right, sweet. Let's give this a shot. Turn that off. Okay, here we go. Hold up. Let me duplicate, delete, and we will arm this one. Thanks for hanging in there, you guys. Here we go. No, I didn't mean to do that. Let's undo that. There we go. Audio input, hardware input. There we go. All right. We're good.
God loved the world so much that he gave us his son.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper. Couldn't wrap the gift, so I wrapped this. Thank God he wrapped up in flesh like a jacket gave us. Just what we needed, a savior, but I'm glad. Alright, so we got a fresh one. We definitely got some more plosives because we don't have a pop filter over it. But here's what we got. So I'm going to solo just the new clip, and here's what we got.
Thought about writing this on wrapping paper. Couldn't wrap the gift, so I wrapped this. Thank God he wrapped up in flesh like a jacket gave us. Just what we needed, a savior, but.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of difference in there between the Altron and without. So there's definitely going to make the biggest difference when you're the farthest away from your microphone. If you get really close and you have the levels hot enough, generally you can eliminate some of the room noise without an enclosure like this. But this definitely helps take it the extra mile. So yeah, Altron PF8, it's around 20 to 30 bucks. Check it out if you're trying to get some vocal isolation without all the sound, the room treatment. I wouldn't say this replaces room treatment, but it definitely helps when you don't have treatment, and I don't. Audio treatment around my room. So this is definitely going to be a staple for me when it comes to my vocal production. I've used it while recording some viola recently, and it worked well too. Not that you really need that for a viola, but this was helpful. Definitely check that out. All right. What we're going to get into next is some live beat making. You guys know how we do it. Going to try to cook up a quick track. I'm going to need a quick second to put this back together, put it over there, but don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. I'll be right here making some tracks, making some beats right now. So 30 seconds. Be right back. Okay, we are right back to it. Gonna get into some beat making. If you're just tuning in, definitely hit that like button. It definitely helps out the channel, gets this put in front of more eyeballs, but also helps fine tune your suggested feed with more dope content like this. So smash that like button. Appreciate you guys. I didn't notice before Benjamin left. He left a question and he said, "What mic do I recommend for sampling and recording vocals?" I wish I'd caught his question before he left. But if you're Benjamin, if you're watching the replay of this, my answer to this question is a lot. There's a lot of options out there. Here's what I would say. You can go as low as just the mics built into your iPad Pro because they're really, really good. But if you're talking about like what mic to purchase, I would say I have been using the Blue Spark for the longest. They have new versions of it now, which are updated and probably sound a bit better. I've had this one for years and it served me well. So that's the Blue Spark if you're interested in the mic that I use. There's also, there's the ones that people are using the most, the Shure MV7, the Shure SM7B. Both of those are really good mics. And I've used actually the same mic that I use for my videos. I've used that to record as well, and that is actually the Takstar. Sorry, I was trying to check the label. The Takstar SGC 597, I believe, and that's just a $25 mic that it's good for picking up a quick sample. It's not like super high quality, but this mic over here, the Blue Spark, definitely is a good call. And then the recommendations I know of that are really good are just those Shure mics. So there you go. Okay, so Prod Michael says, "Love the Christian rap vibes." Appreciate that, man. I am a Christian. I do rap, so my faith, my life does spill out in my music. But yeah. All right, let's get into it. I'm interested to see what's going to happen tonight because I honestly have zero plans. So we're just going to try to do something new and see what happens. I'm feeling like doing a little bit more chill vibes tonight. I haven't done a nice chill vibes track in a hot minute. So let's see what we can cook up. Let's see. For those of you who aren't familiar with how I do on my live streams, I really just dig into the creative process and I try to be focused on it. I will try to answer a question if you throw it in. If you have any questions about anything I'm doing while I'm making music, I'm happy to answer them. Just definitely drop that in the comments and I'll keep an eye on it. But I generally get quiet when I'm in the zone. So yeah, if you want to hear something from me, you want to know anything about what I'm doing, drop it in the chat. Otherwise, you might not hear a lot, but you might learn a lot just from watching the process. So, all right, let's get into it. All right, definitely gonna need that X key. I'm gonna start with some chords tonight, see what we can get. Yo, Anthony Flores, God bless you too, man. Catch you later. Thanks for rolling through. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, I need to sync my keyboard. All right. Let's see. Oh, no wonder I'm not getting any sustain. Gotta make sure that other keyboard's connected. Alright. Let's see, I have to press this button. There we go. I think I'm going to do something like that. Let's see, let's try this one. Nah, that's too much. Definitely too much. Strange. Ooh, I kind of like that. Let's see. Trying to decide on a tempo. Let's see. All right. All right, let's try that. Oh, I know one thing I need to do is disable this quantize. Alright, here we go. I definitely boofed that last chord. I'm not sure what happened. That's what happened. Oh yeah, I should get rid of that. Alright. Rudolph V says, great videos. Appreciate that, Rudolph. It's not the right chord. Let's see, so it would be interesting. That doesn't sound right to me. Let's see, let's hear it again. Yeah, I don't know. Yo, Prophet Michael, definitely thanks for rolling through, man. I know it's getting started a little slow this time, but it'll get there. I can't rush the process or it won't turn out right. But hey, man, definitely do what you got to do. Glad you rolled through. All right, let's try this again. Ah, that did not go the way I wanted. Let's try again. Pretty good about that. I have to do some volume automation. Alright, I think I got what I need. Alright, let's save this real quick, and we're going to start adding some drums. Today is the 27th. 27, 21. Okay, let's get some drums in here. Sorry, these snares are really loud. Hopefully they didn't shock you guys. Alright. Let me turn this up because it's pretty darn quiet. Kind of like that. I might use that later. Alright. I'm just mining some of my old sample packs. See if I can find anything good. Okay, gosh, some of those are loud. Sorry. Oh yeah, that's the better clap in my opinion. Let's see. All right. Atmosphere going on in the back. I don't know if I really like that. I might replace that. Not really liking any of these. Sorry guys, it's taking me a second to find some good stuff. Use that. have to replace that. Ooh, that kick was kind of nice. I think I'm gonna use that. Alright, let's see if we can get some hi-hats in here. Might redo that. Let's see, let's try it one more time. Yo, Terrence Mosley, thanks for rolling through, dude. Check you next time. Throw some reverb on this clap. want a different bass sound. Let's see. Let's try the bass 808 plugin. Oops. All right, second take. I'm gonna try to get some other harmonic element in here. Ooh, I like that. Man, that sounds fire. Alright, let's try it. It's like not working right. I don't know what happened. Okay, I really like this pad, but I swung everything. So now I gotta go back and like unswing my drums because I really like it not swung. Okay, alright, so let's see. What do we do here? I guess I can just quantize sounds so like not natural, but I'll try it. Let's quantize it to the yeah, 16th would be it. Let's try that. sidechain my kick real quick. feel like I gotta get something down with this this melody. I just can't come up with anything good. Let's see. I'll just try. Let's see what happens. I feel like it sounds a little cheesy, but I don't know. I hope if I played the right notes. Alright, I don't know. I feel like that melody will eventually come to me. It's just not hitting right now. And usually when it's not coming, I don't try to force it. Plus, this has gone pretty long. So, thank you to all of you that have been rocking with me through this whole process. If you're still tuned in, you deserve just the world's biggest round of applause. You're still here. That's dope. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being the realist. Yeah, so if you caught the beginning of this video, awesome. I would love to know what was your favorite tip that I shared out of the 6 ways that you can make your music sound way better for free. Let me know down in the comments section. If you weren't here during it, you definitely need to rewind that back. But all that said, creatives, go make something dope, and I'll see you in the next video.